Georgie.
I'm hearing you, Lisa. Well done. Well, as every parent knows, once the baby comes along, life changes forever and many things are put on hold. Australian woman Tori Haschka decided to get all of her ambitions and dreams out of the way before she started a family, and I caught up with her recently. Tori, good morning to you.
Good morning, Georgie. Hi.
This is a great story. Tell us, how did it come about?
I guess it all started about 10 weeks before our wedding when, unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away in some pretty tragic circumstances. And we were really conscious that there were things that she wanted to do with her life that she never got the chance to. On our honeymoon, we sat there one night and we made a list of all the things that both of us wanted to get done before we became three. And that's how it all began.
And it is an extensive list. You both quit your jobs, you both moved to London and spent any savings, I understand, you had on crossing off some of those items. Just run through what you've already done.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the most awe-inspiring things for me was that we got to see the Great Pyramids of Egypt. We were in Cairo a week after Mubarak was ousted, and we were the only people inside the Great Pyramids. And we've also had some great experiences in safari. I grew up with safari animals on the walls of my nursery, and so to be 5 metres away from them in Madikwe last year is just one of those things where you have to pinch yourself. Say, is this really happening? It's been amazing.
I understand you're a keen foodie. You've eaten at some pretty fabulous restaurants. Tell us about that.
Well, we were lucky enough to be able to get one of the bookings at El Bulli before it closed, and I think that's a meal that we will never forget. Eating olives that exploded in our mouths and picking up bits of coconut foam off a piece of paper, sort of in the middle of a 35-course meal, has just been extraordinary. But we also had some fantastic meals in Denmark recently. We went to Noma last year. It was great to see so many Australians, both in the kitchen and on the floor there. There was a home-cooked egg that was done at the table that was one of our favourite dishes. So sometimes it's the simplest things that are the best.
You have had some not-so-pleasant culinary experiences as well, haven't you?
Absolutely. We went to Iceland last year chasing northern lights, and while we didn't actually see any of the northern lights there, we had some fantastic food experiences, and one that was not quite so great, which was Haschka, which is fermented shark meat, which is something of a delicacy, but not great.
All right, but I believe you've had the best possible hot dog there.
The hot dogs, which they have in Iceland, are simply extraordinary. I think the fact that they braise them in beer may have something to do with it. So after a bit of extensive research, we think that they're probably the best in the world.
All right, sounds like you better get your hands on that recipe. And there are still, though, a few things left to tick off your list. Run us through them.
At the moment it's Russia, so we're looking at that later on this year. Andrew's put in a late lobbying effort for Rio, so we'll see about that, and possibly another attempt to see the Northern Lights. But after that, we definitely have to come home and start saving again. And I think we're pretty conscious that while all of this has been extraordinary, that the biggest adventure is probably what comes after all of this.
We wish you all the best, and thank you very much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you, Georgie. It's been an absolute delight.
Yes, she's keen to go to Tassie as well at some point as well. Good luck to her and the other bloke as well.